Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Well, I just left my brother and sister-in-law's house a few minutes ago, and I am on my way home. My birthday has come to an end, and we had a great birthday party, 60th birthday party for my mother-in-law tonight. She was so surprised, and she had such a great time. So, I don't know how long I'm going to vlog. I know I always say that, right? But I've literally been going for like 12 hours straight, and it's like 12, almost 12:40, and I am, like, my eyes are really tired. So, I'm on my way home, and I may just continue to vlog and then go home. I know it looks like I'm really dressed up, but I actually have on khaki cutoff shorts, jean shorts, because halfway through the night I was like, I have to change and get comfortable. So I will tell you what I did today. We got up and slept in today, and then we went and got coffee, and then we went to Party City, and we bought a ridiculous amount of decorations. His mom wanted it to be Great Gatsby themed, like Flapper, Roaring Twenties. And so we went and he had ordered her like a dress online, like a really nice like Flapper dress. And his friend Sarah and her mom were coming, and they had ordered dresses, and his friend Amy was coming, and she had ordered a dress, and like all these people from the neighborhood and like all of her friends were coming, and she was really surprised because she thought we were going out to dinner for my birthday and that we were doing something for her birthday tomorrow. And then it was just gonna be like a small little family thing, doing like, you know, the Great Gatsby theme thing tomorrow. So we went over to Carlos and Liliana's house, and after we went to Party City, and we put up all the decorations, and I stayed there for like an hour, hour and a half, and then I was like, I had to go find something to wear because I had nothing to wear to this party tonight that was like flapperish. I still didn't look real Roaring Twenties, but it is what it is. And I was surprised because everybody that came like really dressed up in costume. It was really fun. And I wore this, and then I wore like a blue and white seersucker vest with like blue suit pants, and I had a bow tie to wear with it, but I couldn't figure out, it wasn't like a bow tie. I don't know how to tie a bow tie. It wasn't like a bow tie you tie. It was like a bow tie that you like, you know, just like, but you like move the sizing of it, and I didn't know how to like move the sizing of it. I couldn't figure it out, so I didn't end up wearing it. And so yeah, we had a good time. So anyway, we decorated the house, and then I went and got something to wear, and then Alex came home after that, and then I made a video for my Peter Monn channel. I wanted to film videos for all my channels today, but I just didn't get to it. And so then what else did I do? I can't think. Came home, filmed the video, and then I just relaxed with Alex for a while. And then we got ready and took showers, and then we got ready to go. And so Liliana like told Hungria that she wanted us to go over there to like before we all went to dinner for like something. And so then it got confusing in the car, and like she was like, no, I thought she said after, and I said, well, I thought she said before. And so then we were trying to like make it like it was before, but she had no idea. And like we pulled up, and we had like these VIP signs that out front that like had like, you know, pointing inside, like VIPs go inside. And she was so surprised. She started bawling, crying, and it was so cute. We walked inside, everybody was dressed like Roaring Twenties. We like really went overboard with the decorations. We had like these chandeliers that were made out of gold and black and stuff. They were very cool. And so we did that, and then Alex gave her like outfit, and his grandma even had like a flapper dress that his aunt had ordered for her. So got that, And then we just sat around and, we got this, his mom really wanted like this photo booth kind of thing, and we weren't gonna like get an actual photo booth. So we got like one of those wall things, which actually, it was really cheap. It was like $5.99 for the wall thing that looked like you were in the Roaring 20s. And then like all of the props that go with it, and that was like $9.99. And everybody used it tonight. It was like really fun. It was like really cheap way and for them to all to have fun and use the prop. They like the whole night they did it. His mom like took a million pictures with everybody with these props. And that was like one of the things. She's like just really loves simple stuff like that. So that was one of the things she really wanted. It was fun. We had a good time. We ate a lot of food, and his Aunt Jackie even made me they had lasagna, and she even made me a vegetarian lasagna. And then we both had a cake. Hungria and I each got a cake, and then they sang happy birthday to us at the same time. Well, Feliz Cumpleaños, or however you pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. And yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. And then Alex wanted to stay. It's like bare minimum people over there now. It's like Carlos, Liliana. We just did it. Okay, so I got his mom a piñata. I was like, let's get your mom a piñata. So we got her like this giant champagne bottle piñata, because the kids always do a piñata on their birthday. And so, all the adults were doing the piñata, which is funny because like they don't usually do the piñata. It's usually just the kids. And so we just did that. Then we had the birthday cake. So it's like Alex, it's Carlos, Liliana, Alex, Sarah and her mom just left. His aunt, and like some neighbors down the street, and then some friends of Alex's mom's. There's probably 10 or 15 people still there, and Alex was like, well, I want to stay, is that cool? And I was like, yeah, I totally don't care. I was like, how are you going to get home though? And he said, I'm just going to Uber home, because we drove together. And I was like, okay. I said, just let me know what's going on. I said, I'm going to go vlog, and then I'm going to go home and let the dogs out and get PPS medicine and stuff like that. PP, you know, it's so interesting, just on a side note, that I was talking on here the last couple days about how PP's cough has been so bad, and then I scheduled this vet appointment, and then literally today, I don't think he coughed one time. Like, literally not one time did I hear him cough. I don't know. The heat was still really hot, but we're only letting him go outside for just like a couple minutes at a time, because he'll just wander around out there. And then I think he doesn't really realize like how hot it really is, and how, you know, it's probably not great for him. So Tanya had said, and the vet had told us last year, but Tanya told me, she was like, don't let them be outside for more than 5 minutes when it's really hot. She was like, because they don't really realize, you know, how hot it is for them. But all three of them like came inside, and then they like drank a bunch of water. It was pouring down rain earlier, and I was just looking, it's like all the streets are like rain covered, but I don't know when it stopped. Anyway, whenever it rains in the summer when it's really hot, it always reminds me of this line from Rear Window where Thelma Ritter, who is Jimmy Stewart's nurse, says, I thought the rain would cool things down, but it just made the heat wet. I love that line, I don't know why. So yeah, it was a good birthday. Everybody keeps on asking me, they're like, well, what are you doing for your birthday though? Like, this was, you know, her birthday. What are you doing for your birthday? I'm like, this was fine. Like, you know, I don't need to do a whole lot for my birthday. We're gonna go to brunch tomorrow, and then I have the live stream for the book club, and then I'll probably take a nap, and we might go to a movie or watch Pose or something. I probably will go to the casino tomorrow night. I talked to Valerie about that. It's kind of like my little birthday thing to myself, but you know, I like to just kind of like, on my birthday, I really like to just kind of think about where I'm at in my life, and like, what do I want to do next, and what are some goals I want to achieve, and you know, what am I content with in my life. And it was funny because I uploaded that vlog last night, and then I was standing in the bathroom today, like it was uploading like before we went and got coffee, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, because I had titled it like all the lessons I've learned so far, and I was like, you know, I sure did leave out a lot of lessons that I've learned. Like, I don't even know where to start with a list of all the lessons I've learned. You know, I was thinking about, I mean, just all the lessons I've learned from being in recovery, you know, from doing inventory of your life to taking responsibility for your actions, which, although that sounds pretty simple, was something that took me a long time to really learn, you know? And it's not like this jump to reaction of my life. It's not like today, like my first response is just to own all of my stuff, you know? I will say sometimes I'm a little hard on myself. Like sometimes I think I overanalyze things, and, you know, Tanya will say things to me like, you take responsibility for things that are not yours. And she's like, you know, not everything, Peter, in a situation do you have a part of, you know? Like Tanya always says that to me, and I think I like to fix things, and so, like, I don't like there being conflict, and so if I can own my part, and I feel like that's going to maybe help the conflict go away, I do that. And, you know, sometimes I need to not take responsibility for things that are not mine to take, you know, because the situation won't be genuinely fixed if you do. But I've learned over time, you know, how to take responsibility appropriately, how, when making amends to somebody, to say, are there things I'm leaving out? Are there things that I'm not remembering, or that I'm remembering, you know, incorrectly? Remind me, and I will, you know, how do I fix this? What would you like me to do to fix this situation, you know? And to also not make an amends until, in my heart of hearts, I feel like I can do that, you know? And which that's not on my, it shouldn't be on my schedule, but I don't want to go into an amends with bitterness in my heart or resentment, because I'll just end up having to make the amends later again, you know what I mean? But I've learned all of that, and, you know, I've learned about, it ain't all about me. It just, and most of it isn't. You know, like, most of what happens in this world has very little to do with me. I'm very important in my life, but not that important in the grand scheme of things. And I don't mean that to belittle my existence or anybody else's, because I hate to tell you something, but you're very important to your life, but you're not very important to the grand scheme of things. And I think that when we start thinking we're more important than we are, is where ego, pride, and arrogance, cockiness, self-centeredness, and things like that, you know, like, they really take over. And there's been times in my life where I really thought that, you know, like, I don't want to be there anymore. I just don't. And, so, I mean, the lessons just continue to go on and on and on. I mean, I've learned so many things in my life that it's hard for me to just narrow it down to all the lessons I've learned this far, you know? You know, like, I think, like, in relationships, like, specifically romantic relationships, like with Alex, it took me 3 long-term relationships to figure out that instead of, to learn that instead of trying to figure out what the other person wants or needs, ask them, like, what do you need in this situation from me? Like, what do you want? Like, what would be ideal? Like, that's good communication. Like, I never knew that, you know? Like, I always tried to figure out what they wanted, or they always tried to figure out what I wanted or needed, you know? And we always were missing the mark. And then the other person becomes bitter because you're not giving them what they want or what they need. When in reality, why aren't we just asking the other person, like, what do you need from me? Or what do you want from me? You know, like, what can I do to make this situation better? Or what can I do to, you know, be a better partner to you, you know, in this relationship? But not just stopping there either, you know, like, giving the other person what they need or what they want, you know, fulfilling those requests for them. Because I think often, you know, like, a huge lesson I've learned that kind of bleeds from that is, I cut myself off because it goes into this, is, you know, my need for asking myself the question. So the lesson is to ask myself this question in any situation: is it more important for me to be happy, or is it more important for me to be right? You know, like, all of my sponsors have said to me, it's a slogan, a recovery slogan, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? Well, you know, it's interesting whenever I say this in a video. I was just talking about this not too long ago on here. I'll always get, like, a couple people that will say, you know, sometimes it's really important to be right. And I know that there are some extreme situations that aren't just, like, day in, day out kinds of things, right? But I think that even in that situation, I mean, I'm not talking about custody battles or, you know, histories of what happened to you in your life and things like that. I'm talking about, like, when you're in an argument with somebody, is it more important for you to be right in that? You know, if it's like, which was first, Disney World or Disneyland, and you think you know what's right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like that kind of argument. And, I mean, is it more important for you to be happy, or is it more important for you to be right? But, like, sometimes even, like, the bigger picture stuff, my happiness is 100 times more important to me than my need to be right. You know, it's like, I was talking about this on here not too long ago, too. Like, when you're talking to somebody and you're like, I'm really tired, and they look back at you, and this just happened to me, like, literally last weekend. I think I may have shared it on here, but when somebody looks at you, like, you look at them and you go, I'm so tired today, and you go, and then they go, imagine working, you know, 10 hours a day, every day since February or something, and you're like, yeah, you can have it. Like, I'm not gonna even fight you on that. Like, you know what, if you're gonna play, you know, who has it worse, you have it much worse than me. I don't really want to wear the crown for having it worse than anybody anyway, you know what I mean? I think, like, one of the most important lessons I've ever learned is staying open to the lesson. You know, staying open to whatever the lesson is going to be that's going to present itself to me. Like, I think often in my past, like in my youth, I was like, no, there's nothing for me to learn here. I have no part in this. I have no responsibility. To look at it in retrospect and realize, A, that I had a lot of part in it, okay? If even that part was, sometimes our part in an argument is just holding on to the argument, you know? Just holding on to the grudge. My holding on to a resentment or a grudge is my part in something. It really is. And holding on to the anger, not letting the anger go, not allowing the other person to resolve things with me, you know? Like, that's my part in something. And, like, in my youth, I guess I didn't really understand that. Like, it was important for me to be vindicated, for me to be right, for me to be justified, you know, right? And I don't care as much today. I mean, I really just don't. Like, okay. But I think it was important for me first. Did I miss a button? I sure did miss a button tonight. Did you ever do that? Well, guess what I just did? I think, there's the lesson, always check your buttons. Button, hit my button. But, you know, I think, like, had I not been willing to stay open to the lesson first, I don't think I would have really gotten those things, you know? I think it's interesting, too, like, the older I get, like, sometimes lessons come full circle. Like, maybe a lesson I learned at 23, like, it comes back around and I'm learning it again, and I'm like, wow, I've been stung by that bee twice. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is familiar to me. Like, I've been through this before, but I didn't learn it last time, and I didn't learn it the second time, and I didn't learn it the fourth time. Am I going to learn it this time? Am I going to trust that maybe I need to do something different, you know? It's like the idea of if what you're doing isn't working, try something different. Like, I'm a big proponent of that. Like, if you're doing something and it's not working, you know, like another recovery saying, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. Try something different. Do something different. You owe it to yourself, you know? Like that saying from that NPR thing that I talked about, you owe it to yourself to do something, you know, amazing with your life, or whatever, phenomenal with your life, I think is what it was. You do. We each do, you know? But for me to do something that's phenomenal with my life, I have to stay open to the lesson. And I never know when the lesson's going to come, you know? And the lesson doesn't usually come to me in real pleasant ways. It just doesn't. I think there's a difference between positive and negative lessons too, you know, like, and I think a little bit of that comes with age, maybe, or with me it's come with age, where, you know, like, back in the day, I would think, like, oh, like, if I got burned by somebody, I would think, oh, the lesson is don't trust people, or don't let people in. When I know that that's not the lesson today. You know, today, I know, and maybe that was the lesson I needed to learn at that time, I don't know, but it didn't really get me that far. Like, today, I know the lesson is, maybe the next person, so you got burnt, but the next person that you meet might be the greatest best friend you've ever had in your entire life. So, you know, stay open to learning. Or, you know what? People will surprise you. I'm constantly, genuinely surprised positively by people, you know? So, I guess I left out a lot of lessons, but the video had also gone really, really long, and I said I wasn't going to make it that long, so. I crashed out last night. When I got done vlogging, I started listening, so I'm listening to The Pines, which is a series of 3 books by Blake Crouch, who wrote Recursion, which is the book that I just finished. He also wrote Dark Matter. But The Pines was actually a series that they made on TV with Matt Dillon, and I watched the first season and I loved it. Well, the book is a little bit different. Not tons, but I mean, I don't remember that much of the TV show that it's not ruining it for me. Plus, I think I really only made it to like episode 5 or 6. And, I mean, I kind of know the direction that it went in, because I think I, like, saw, like, another episode from season 2 or something like that. But it's really, like, the book is really good. It's different. It's different than his other 2 books, because it's an older book. But it's very spooky. And I didn't know that Riley Sager had a new book out. So Riley Sager wrote a book a couple years ago called Final Girls. And it was about, like, all of these girls that... Like, if a serial killer, or if, like, a mass killer had killed, like, 10 girls, like, in a sorority house, let's say. It was, like, a fictional book. Then, like, the one that survived, that was left alive, she was considered a final girl. Like, you know, like in a horror movie. And, so it was, like, all of a sudden, these final girls, they were, like, known to be that. There was, like, 3 or 4 of them, started dying off one by one, like, being killed. And that book was really good. Very dark. Very, very dark. I thought it was going to be a young adult book, but it wasn't at all. It was not young adult. But then the next one, I can't remember the title of it. Something about a lie. Lies she told me or something. I have it on Audible and I haven't listened to it. I haven't listened to the Karen McManus book either, the second one. I need to listen to that. And, well, Riley Sager just came out with a 3rd book, and it's called Lock Every Door, and it's about an old hotel in New York City. I think most of his books take place in New York City. And somebody left a comment on my BookTube video and said that I should read it. So I have, like, that, the Karen McManus book. I have, like, 4 really scary books that I want to listen to this summer. So I think I might make July my scary book month. Plus, BookTubeathon, which is a week-long readathon. They changed the name of it. I don't know what they called it. Mel and I were looking it up when we were talking on the phone the other day. She was looking it up for me. And she's like, well, it's not called BookTubeathon anymore. I was like, yeah, I know they changed the name of it because it's Ariel Bissett. She did it before, but she and somebody else are doing it now together. And they changed the name of it. But it's the 21st of July through something. If you love to read and you've never done a camera stopped. If you love to read and you've never done a readathon before, you should do it. It's really fun, and I will tell you guys more about it when they haven't released the challenges or the notification or anything about it. They just have like a 30-second video that says like the dates, and it's not even them. It's just like, you know, a screen showing what's going on. Why is my windshield all of a sudden fogging up? Ooh, that feels good. It just went on my feet. Cool air on my feet. And then money changes everything. Monday, I am going back on my Optavia program. which I did find out that it is Opta-Via. Alex's coach told me that, and it means Opta, which means like optimum, and then Via is way, so like optimum via, like optimum way of life or something like that through this diet, I guess. It means something like that, or something, I don't know, something way of life. But anyway, I'm going back on Monday, which is July 1st. And I'm kind of ready to be back on it, to be honest. I know you guys are probably asking me, well, why aren't you doing it tomorrow then, Peter? Well, because I'm going to go to brunch tomorrow. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. So that's my plan for tomorrow. And I'm sticking to it. And it is what it is. And then I have training on Monday. I'm going to have to do like, I have 2 sessions this week. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. Oh my Lord. My window is fogging up. Like, what is the deal? I don't understand. I'm not putting the air above what it is, because I wonder if I like roll down the window, if that'll stop it. It's 73 degrees outside, and it is really, really muggy. That's probably why it is. I was sitting on the patio today. The dogs were outside, and I was just kind of like looking at the backyard and, you know, all these trees that we have and stuff, and this cardinal like swooped down and like went and landed on a tree in front of me. And I was like thinking to myself about like my mom we used to talk about like if she ever came back, she'd visit me as a cardinal, which my dad later thought was funny because we live in Indiana and cardinals are the state bird, and he's like, well, you'll see her everywhere then, because they're everywhere in the spring and summer. But one of the things that we don't see very often here that my mother loved, I mean, I don't even know when the last time I saw one was. I mean, I bet it was probably, if it was last year, I don't remember it. And this was a huge one too. Like, not huge like this, but it was a big one, is a blue jay. A blue jay, like, swam down from the other side and, like, literally, like, sat, like, a branch over from this cardinal. And it was the eeriest feeling in the entire world. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I had the weirdest vibes about, like, my mom and my aunt. Like, I wasn't like, oh, my mom and my aunt are these birds and they're there. Like, I just, all of a sudden, like, I just felt like this loving presence of my mom and my aunt around me. It was the weirdest thing. And they just kind of sat there for, like, a minute, too. And then they both flew off. And, it was just the most bizarre thing, but nice. I don't often, like, feel like that, you know, anymore. Like, I don't feel like they're around me a lot. I really never did with my aunt, I guess. But with my mom, every once in a while I do. So I have this thing that I believe is, like, my mom's way of coming to me and acknowledging that she's around me. And it's so unique and so specific. Like, I always say this, like, if I ever go to a psychic and a psychic says, this is your mother coming to you, like, there's no way anybody would ever guess this in a million years. Like, it's just so bizarre and unique. And it happened earlier in the week, and it, like, hadn't happened for a while. I think it happened, like, 2 weeks ago, but before that, it hadn't happened in, like, 3 months or something. And it's just so random, and I've never said it in the vlog, I've never mentioned it, and, it's just the weirdest thing. I will tell you one thing that was really weird was the other day I was filming, I still don't know what this was, but it kind of spooked me out more than I like to act like it did. The other day, I was filming a video. I mean, it's actually on film. You can see it. Like, and Alex was not at home. Well, you can't see it, but you can hear it. I was filming a video on my Peter Monn channel, and my computer started playing one of my videos. Like, you can hear it start playing my video, the beginning of it. It was the weirdest. I mean, I didn't have it queued up or anything. And all of a sudden, it just started playing my video. And I was like, you can see me. Like, in the video, I'm like, oh my God, like, my video just started playing. Like, I said it in my video, and I stopped my camera, and then I came back to it. Like, that was weird. Talked to my dad and my stepmom today. Talked to Tanya Jean today. Talked to Valerini today. Melissa. My friend Courtney. That was on my vlog. She's the one that I went to that Rev thing with. Who else? Got tons of texts from all my friends. It was nice. I like that. So many of you left me the most beautiful messages on Twitter and emailed me and sent me messages and on my Instagram said things. I thank you so much. It was so sweet. Oh my God, my husband left me the nicest message ever on his Instagram. What else? Let's see. What is this person doing? They have like a flashlight and they're like pulled over on the side of the road. Look, they're like literally like, can you see? They're like just like, oh, they're moving now. They have their flashing lights on. Hi. What's your name? Peter Monn, that's my name too. Did you ever see that movie, Lost Highway, that David Lynch movie? I love David Lynch. And he was like, that guy comes up to him at the party and he's like, I'm in your house right now. Like, I'm here and I'm in your house right now. Did you ever see that movie? It's so spooky. Okay, can I tell you my new favorite obsession? And I talked about this on the season 1, is that Girls Incarcerated is back on Netflix. And I have already watched like 2 episodes. So good. I have to say, I think season 1 was better than season 2, but it's like a reality show, so you can't really say season 1 is better than this or something like that. But the sad thing is that season 2, like the reasons that they're there are more severe. Oh my God, this one girl that's there, I remember, like, they show the news footage of her being arrested, and I'm gonna have to turn this up to the heat. It's gonna piss me off. Because it is just like, is it taking it away now that I turned the heat on? Not the heat, but I turned it up, like. But anyway, they showed like the news coverage of like when she was arrested, and I totally remember it because like they held this woman at gunpoint, she and her boyfriend did. And I remember hearing about that, and I was like, oh my God, these 2 teenagers held this woman up by gunpoint. And so she's on the show. It's just real sad, you know, like, it reminds me a lot of the work that I used to do. So much of it, you know, and I mean, I'm not an idiot. It's not like I don't realize, I cannot do this heat. It is too much. It's not like I don't realize that those stories are still out there, you know? But, like, it just makes me sad. It's like, when as a society do we start fixing our own problems? You know what I mean? It was like this one girl. Okay. So, this was interesting, because this is how I was different back in the day, right? So, she's court-ordered for substance abuse issues, okay? To Indiana Girls School. Now, this is girls' school. This is like one step up. This is, Girls Incarcerated is girls' school. It's Department of Corrections, okay? You're court mandated. It's one step under going to jail for like adults, right? So this girl that's like glowing student, blah, 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 whatever, okay? Yeah. worked with a million of those back in the day. They tell you exactly what you want. They tell you exactly what they think you want to hear, and they're playing games, and then they get out and they're back in 2 weeks because it was all just a facade, and they wasted 90 days of their life, okay, or 6 months, or a year of their life, because they just were like, hey, I'm just going to do what it sounds like is good. I'm going to look like the perfect person, blah, 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 but I don't really think that I have a problem, and when I get out of here, I'm going right back to what I was doing before. But people forget that what you did before you got in here, that got you in here, is what's going to get you back in here. Okay, my battery died. And this beanbag thing keeps on like going up. And I honestly do not know how much longer that I have on this battery, because this battery is completely dead, I think. Well, it was like flashing. But I don't think this battery that I just put in is like supercharged. So we'll just see. I hope it goes for a while, because if it doesn't, then this vlog is going to be like 30 minutes long, which I guess is longer than I thought it was going to be anyway, but it doesn't matter. My windshield's still fogged. It's driving me nuts. But anyway, I was talking about girls incarcerated. She's talking on there about, like, you know, people, like, telling you what you want to hear. And she's like, I've been the model student, and I've done like everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I really want to make changes and whatever. Okay, so they're on this outing, and she's like, on the way back, if you've watched it, it's the Carissa girl, and it's like episode 2, and she's sitting in the back seat, and the warden is driving them, and he's like really good too. Like, I mean, you can tell like he really knows this stuff. He was in the first season too. And they pass this abandoned house or building, and like this one girl's like, if you went in there, what would you do? And the Carissa girl is like, I get out and I'd smoke a blunt. Or I go in there and I'd smoke a blunt. And he's like, what did you say? She's supposed to be getting out in 4 days, right? She's been there for like 4 months. And she's like, I was just joking. She goes, I said that if I went in, I would go in there and smoke a blunt. And he goes, well, I don't think that that's funny, and you're getting out in 4 days, maybe you're not ready to get out. And so she's really worried, and she has to go before this like advisory, I don't know, like it's called ARC, and they like review, advisory review team or something, I don't know what it is, to review her case to see if she's ready to go home. And he comes in there, and he's like, and don't get me wrong, like, I mean, I feel sorry, you know, for anybody that goes through these situations, but you know, when I got sober, I had some people that were real tough on me, and I needed it. Like, I needed people to be tough on me and tell me how it was. You know, like, I've talked about my counselor in there before, who was like, you can come to group when you're ready to talk about your pot smoking and things like that. And, on and on and on. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. And she's like, well, you can come back to group when you're ready to talk about it. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, stuff like that. I mean, she just was tough on me. You know, like when I asked for my hairstylist to come in and cut my hair for New Year's Eve, and she was like, no, princess, and you're not going to go to the New Year's dance now. I mean, I had people that were tough on me, you know, my sponsors and everything. They loved me. They were compassionately tough on me. Alex is like firing these texts at me. I don't know what he is saying. But anyway, so I'm watching this, and she goes before this advisory review council, maybe that's what it is, and they're like, they call him in there, and she has to apologize to him for making the statement, and she starts crying, and she's like, I'm really sorry, like, I shouldn't have said it, it's not who I want to be, and blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, I understand that, you know, he's like, I think you've come a long way, and I'm not going to keep you here any longer. Well, I already know what happens with this stuff, because Tanya told me, she watched it, and she's like, you know, it's so sad, it's what we know. And I said, what do you mean? And she's like, these kids get out and they don't have a chance. And she's like, you know, Peter, we see it all the time in the rooms. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and I'm like, even if you kept this girl, let's just say 2 more weeks, okay? I'm not saying 2 more months. Let's say 2 more weeks. And you said, you know what, we're going to keep you 2 more weeks, and we're going to reevaluate your case in 2 weeks. We're going to keep... let her get angry, let her get mad, right? But let's show her that state of mind, that what got her there, if she's sitting there saying 4 days before she's gonna get out that what got her there is what she's gonna be doing when she leaves, like what, I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing, you know? And so I'm sitting there watching this, I'm just like shaking my head, like, I don't know. It breaks my heart, you know? But I love that show. And then I hear some of these kids' stories, you know? And the majority of them, you know, had absent parents, and their stories of growing up were just tragic. And you think, well, they didn't even have a chance. You know? They're raising themselves, basically. I gotta pull in here and read these texts. Alex is like crazy. But if you haven't seen Girls Incarcerated, you should watch it. It's really, really good. And this season is good, but the first season is really, really good. I'm not too far into it, so I want to see what happens. I should have pulled in there. I was so tired when I left there, but now I'm kind of awake from like driving around and talking. Oh, I just got a third one and there's a picture. I think it'd be fun to go and have a picnic, but it's so hot. Like, who wants to go to have a picnic when it's 95 degrees outside? Not me. Do you guys like to have picnics? Alex and I have said we were going to do it for, like, everything is fogging up in my car. We keep on saying we're going to do it every summer, and then we don't do it. But it's like, I don't want to go have a picnic when it's like 100 degrees outside. I'd rather just go for a swim. Okay, let's see what he said. He's like, I knew this was gonna happen. I said, when I left, I said, I can vlog around here, and then I can come back and get you guys. Or, like, oh, no. We're gonna all take Ubers, don't worry about it. Tia's gonna take an Uber. Tia's his aunt. Tia's gonna take it, or, you know, Tia's gonna take an Uber, I'm gonna take an Uber, we're all gonna be fine. Because I told his aunt when Ed, now my hair's looking stupid left. I said, she was like, if Ed leaves, can you take me home? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm getting ready to leave. And I said, I'm getting ready to leave, you know, like, do you want to ride home? She goes, oh, no, I'll stay. And Alex is like, I'll just get her an Uber, don't worry about it. So now they're like, because they know my schedule, they're like, if you're just going to be up anyway, driving around, would you mind coming and getting us? Welcome to my life. I know he's not texting me back. Come on. Oh my god, you guys keep on asking for the 3-hour vlog, which cracks me up. He's like not giving me a time. I wonder if Tanya's still up. So when I was on my way out there, since it was like a Great Gatsby themed party, I was listening to the Great Gatsby soundtrack, and it has that song in there by Fergie that, how's that song go? Well, I just could look on here because it's probably the last song I was playing. No, it's not. Hold on. No, I can't remember what it's called. Shoot, now I have to go into the soundtrack. Genre. Singer-songwriter? No. Great Gatsby, here it is. A little party never killed nobody. It's by Fergie, Q-Tip, and Goon Rock. Do you know that song? A little party never killed nobody. And, what is considered urban cowboy genre? Rose-Colored Glasses by John Conway. Urbano Latino. What's that considered? Oh, I have a lot of that. Singer-songwriter, who's that? Oh, Bob Dylan, Judy Collins, Ed Sheeran, Lacey J. Dalton. I love that song. Billy Bragg. Old Crow Medicine. Indigo Girls. Old Crow Medicine Show. The Weepies. Brett Dennen. Lindsey Buckingham. 3? He wants me to come pick him up at 3? It is 1:41 right now. Oh my god. This is, I don't know, like 3. It's literally like gonna be, by the time I get there, it'll be like 6 of them dancing. He's texting me something. Do you ever just like sit there and look at the text and it's like that ... and you're like, I mean, I really don't. If you're not wanting to be out, that's fine. We can just Uber it. Okay. But like when you're texting somebody and they ... you, and you're like waiting and 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 waiting for the ... Here's his Red Bull that he didn't even finish. Do I have any coffee left? A little party never killed nobody. Is he texting me back? Or is there, oh, I guess got a text. I can feel it. A little party never killed. Okay, babe. He said, okay, babe. I mean, I could be an ass and be like, just Uber it, but you know what? I'm going to be driving around listening to my audiobook anyway, so I'll just go home now and let the dogs out and give PPS medicine, and then I'll just come back and listen to my audiobook and go get them. It's really that simple, and they don't have to waste their money, and then they all get home safe anyway. So, you know what? I'm glad that Hungria is having a good time on her birthday. So I was so excited that she was so surprised. She was bawling her eyes out. Alex and I were talking to Jason and Melissa about taking a short little trip to Miami for like a 4-day weekend and staying at the hotel that I want to stay at. I think that we might do that. And just do like spur of the moment, see if we can get like a flight down there that's cheap, because sometimes you can get cheap trips spur of the moment. We might do that. I'd like to get out of town for a couple days. We're going to Vegas in August, but I did think today though, like, you know, when I'm here, like, I don't love to do a lot for my birthday, but I do like to go on vacation for my birthday. Like, that has been something that I've really enjoyed doing. Like, with my ex, with Alex, you know, like, I really enjoy getting away for my birthday. And I think, like, going forward, we just need to be gone for our birthdays. Like, maybe, like, take an extended trip and, like, fly out on his birthday and, like, come back the day after mine or something like that. You know, like, leave the day before his birthday and then come back, like, the day after mine and be gone for, like, 9 days or something like that. Like, I think that's what we need to do just next time, and just make a whole big trip out of it. Well, next year we're going to EDC in Las Vegas. We're going to Ultra. And then we'll probably do the summer trip, if we can afford these trips, I don't know. But it's not super expensive to go to some of these, like, places in the summer. Like, when you go to, you know, Mexico in the summer, it's really cheap. I mean, not super cheap, but it's cheaper than if you go in, like, April, because that's spring break, and the weather is fantastic in June. You know, it's not the best, so I could kind of have a cup of hot coffee. Did I show you guys my mug that I got, my Starbucks mug that I got in the mail? That when I was reading the reviews on the website, it said it had 2 dents in the side and all this kind of stuff. Oh my God, it came. It's perfection. So I now have this Starbucks. And then I have one that looks very similar to this, but it's for hot coffee. And it has 2 dents on the side. It's exactly the same kind of black metal as this. And then I have... And since I've gotten this, like, I don't think, maybe like one time because I forgot it or something, but I don't think so. Since I've gotten this, I was thinking about this today. Like, you don't think it means a whole lot. And maybe it doesn't, to, like, you know, because they still use the cups at Starbucks. But if I've gotten coffee every day for, let's say, 2 weeks, right? And I would have gotten a plastic cup before. That's 14 plastic cups plus straws that I would have used before that I haven't used. That's a lot of plastic cups. And even if you're recycling them, that's like a lot. This is like, I really feel good about using it. And I know that's kind of cheesy, but it's just something small like that. If you think about like 365 or 300 plastic cups that you would use in a year, you know, because I always get the venti. Sometimes I go through there twice a day. That's a lot of plastic cups if you put that in a big pile that you're saving just by using one of these. So I got the hot one too. So, and it has just like at the very bottom, it's like the Christmas edition. And at the very bottom, it just has like this Starbucks little button on it, like right here. And it's really nice. It's really sturdy. And I'm like, I think, you know, I am like all about these. Like, I'm going to continue to buy these and just have like the nice Starbucks ones. And then I have a couple others, you know, and just keep them. And then use these from now on and collect them. I like them. They're great for like going to meetings and stuff too. A little party never killed nobody. I don't know. I really wanted to make videos all today, and because Alex was like, "Well, what do you want to do tomorrow for your birthday?" And I was like, "Well, I want to make videos. You know, like I think it'd be fun to make videos on my birthday. I wanted to do maybe like a little Q&A or something, and I wanted to do this thing on my Peterisms where I did like all these. Like I was going to do the lessons I had learned, but I didn't end up doing that. Right? So now my birthday's over. Well, officially. And so I was like, you know what? I don't know tomorrow, like, if I'm going to make videos or not, because we'll go to brunch. We're going to meet Sarah at 2 o'clock at Patashu. And then after that, like, I have to come home. Then I'll call Mel. And then I have my live stream at 4. And then for the John Wayne Gacy book. And then after that would be when I would make them, but it's not like I'm going to want to get off that live stream after like an hour and 15 minutes and like immediately sit down and make videos, which means I wouldn't be making videos till like 6 or something, and I don't know that I want to do it that late tomorrow, so, but I don't know, we'll just have to see. I mean, if some kind of drama pops off, then obviously I'll make some kind of drama video about it, but I really wanted to make like a Peterisms video, a review video. A little party never get nobody. You know what I could do is after my brunch, I could go to Starbucks because I'm not going to start Optavia again back until Monday, and I could do that Dragonfly or whatever it's called refreshener, because I've been wanting to try that, and I could do that review tomorrow, or the s'mores frappuccino. I heard that was pretty good, but I don't think I really need that, but I heard it was good. I asked the guy when I was going through there one night, I said, like, what's your favorite frappuccino of life? And he goes, the s'mores frappuccino is really pretty good. And I go, really? I do love a good s'more, though. They're so messy. But don't you think that's kind of what's part of the fun of making a s'more, is that they're so messy? Like, I think that's kind of a rite of passage. If you've never, like, sat by a bonfire, you know, and I'm talking in the fall. I'm not talking in the summer. I'm not talking in 80-degree heat. I'm talking about sweatshirt weather where you got to have on jeans and a hoodie, okay? And it's cold outside, and somebody's playing some music, and you're telling ghost stories, and you're making hot dogs, and, you know, you're having, I don't eat hot dogs anymore, obviously, because I'm a vegetarian, but I did back in the day. You're eating hot dogs, and you're having apple cider, and, you know, or if you drink alcohol, libations, or whatever, but, and then you do a s'more. You have to do a s'more, and I hate when people are like, oh, no, I don't like them, or they're too, who doesn't like a s'more, seriously? If you don't know what a s'more is 2 graham crackers with a marshmallow in between it, and then chocolate, and you just push it all down. And I really, to be honest, I'm an expert s'more maker. No, I really am, though. I'm not. But I like to burn my marshmallows. Do you like to do one thing or the other? Like, I like to burn my marshmallows. Like, that's my favorite. And then you got to pick out your wooden stick, too, from the woods. Do you guys do that? And then you're sitting there, and it's like you can hear something in the woods, and you're like, is somebody watching us? Oh, my God, I miss those days. We have these friends of ours, and they legit, like, every other year, I don't know if they did it last year. I feel like we didn't get invited, but I know that's not true because Alex still sees her all the time. She and her husband, they live way out in the middle of nowhere on this, what do you call it, in this fields all around him in this house out in the middle of nowhere. And for like 2 years, they, like any kind of wood that they find, or like wood that they have left over at their house, they have a huge barn and stuff too. They're not farmers, but they have a barn. And anyway, and they'll just put in this pile. And then like over 2 years, they build this huge, I mean, it is like literally like 15, 20 feet in the air, okay? And probably 50 feet across, this like bonfire, all wood. And then they light this thing up, and then we all go out there and we have this bonfire, and it is so, they literally have like 50 people, and it, like, the bonfire goes all night long. And of course, we, you know, I have no idea when it stopped filming, because I was looking like right at it. It must have like stopped right when I was looking at it too, and I didn't even realize it had stopped. But anyway, I was at the end of the 23.5 minutes or whatever. So anyway, our friends, I don't know where I was telling about this story, but they make this huge bonfire, and it's literally like 20 feet in the air and 50 feet across. And then her husband collects like these kegs of like IPA beers or whatever, and so like everybody's got their beer and their wine, and they're out there drinking, and they get they get a bunch of pizza and stuff too. So we all sit out there and we tell these stories. Well, it's real scary because like they have these huge fields, but you can't see like 10 minutes into the field, or 10 feet into the field, right? And then at the end of the field, there's like huge woods at the end of the field, but you can't see it, so you don't know like if somebody's coming out of the field to get you, or out of the woods to get you, or whatever. And then they have these huge dogs, and everybody has to park on this like gravel road that they have leading up to their driveway. And I asked her one time, I said, don't you ever get scared out here? And she said, no, I never get scared out here. And I said, well, why not? And she said, because they literally, like, they're the only house, like, on the street, right? Like, you turn off, like, their street is, like, 580th West, okay? Or something out in the middle of nowhere. And you, like, turn off the interstate, turn off another street, turn off another street, turn off another street, and then their street. And it's literally like the street that goes down for like 10 miles, and they're the only house on the street. I mean, would you not be completely spooked? I am totally spooked. So anyway, and we're close with them, and I said, do you not ever get scared out here? She's like, I love the land. And I go, do you never, but you don't get scared? She goes, oh, never. I go, even when he's like doesn't come home from work till late, because he doesn't get, like, he gets there later than she does a lot. And she goes, no, like, they have these huge dogs, right? And she was like, no. She was like, because if anybody even pulls onto our street, which usually people don't come down our streets because they just turn on our street to turn back around because they realize they've gone too far. She goes, as soon as somebody pulls onto the street, the dogs start going crazy. Like, they start barking like crazy. She's like, so no, I'm not scared, because they, like, I know immediately, like, if there's somebody coming down the street. I'm like, Denny's is packed tonight, my God. People sure did want their moons over my hammy. But I'm like, forget that. I would be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified. It sounds fun, you know, like in theory. Why is there like a shadow right across my face? Like, I don't understand. But it sounds fun in theory. Like, I always think I would love to live out in the country and have like a farm and, like, you know, little animals and, like, you know, ponies and pot-bellied pigs and little goats and stuff like that. But no, I don't think I would. I really don't think I would. I think it sounds really nice and sweet and whatever, but, like, I think I'd be scared to death, in all honesty. But if you've never been to a bonfire and you've never had a s'more, and don't act like putting it in the microwave is the same thing, because it's just not. I'm telling you, it's not. You can sit here and try to fool this one all day long, but I'm telling you, it's not the same thing. It's just not. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's not. But anyway, you gotta taste kind of like, you know, like when you like lick the marshmallow off the stick, you kind of have to do that. Like, that's kind of a rite of passage too. What is going on over here? That two cops pulled somebody over in the White Castle parking lot. My Lord, I love the White Castles. They are so good. I used to call it Whitey Castile back in the day. If you ever went to White Castle back in the day, and I mean to tell you, this is when I was drinking, so this would have been 25 years ago. I say this to people all the time, and they're like, that was never the case. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, they did. Do you guys remember they used to have sour cream and chive fries? Like, I swear to God that White Castles used to have, well, it's called White Castle, but I always call it the White Castle or the Castle or the Whitey Castile. I change everything's name. But I swear they used to have these things called sour cream and chive fries. And they were delicious. I loved them so much. In case you want to be a cheerleader. I got this shirt today. It was on sale. It was like $65 marked down to $19. Don't you think I look pretty Rico Suave in it? That guy just, like, he got up to the light and it turned green. He went, yeah. He must have somewhere to go. He must have a lady to see. Tell your lady I said hi. You know, we have that stuffed animal. It's really lamb chop, but she doesn't have any stuffing in her. And then there's little lady. So we call her Lady. You know, the one, because she's got lips. She's got lipstick, right? And so that's like the only stuffed animal that Pee-Pee really likes. But he always just lays on her. Because I think he likes how she feels. She's just got, like, you know, because she's so soft. And I always go, there's your lady, Pee-Pee. And I always, like, whenever I leave, he's got his little tongue out and he's like this. I always go, here's Otis, because Otis is his dog. And then I say, and here's Lady, and here's Little Lady, and here's Opossum, because he has an opossum too. Tucker plays with all of them. Oh my God, I had Alex laughing so hard today I was doing Boo's voices again, because I was telling him about the voices that I was doing, you know. Well, I was telling him that I had was telling him that in the video I was telling you guys about the voices I was doing with him. So I started doing them again today too. How did I do them? I said something about, oh, I know how I started it, because I was watching Jaws 2 today, and the music came on. So Alex was like laying in bed before we were getting ready. We didn't have like TV or anything on, and he was just sitting there looking on his phone. He got laughing so hard, and I said, so it was playing the music downstairs, and I go, Boo Radley, I go, do you know what that music is? He goes, I certainly do not. And I go, that is the music of Jaws 2. He goes, I don't care for that movie. He goes, that movie's about sharks. And I go, have you ever seen a shark, Boo Radley? He goes, oh yes. He goes, I have been on many boats. I go, you've been on boats? He goes, oh yes, I have. I myself own many boats. I said, Boo Radley, how do you own so many boats, my lord? He said, oh, I have just tons and tons of gold coins. Don't even worry about it. I have gold bullion, gold coins. And I said, you do, my lord? What kind of boats do you have? And he said, this is literally my conversation with Boo Radley, right? And he's just laying there. I'm like holding him. He's like got his head back. He's just looking like this. And he said, oh, I have yachts, but mostly I get on my rowboat. He goes, one time, so then the shark thing came up again, I don't know how, and he goes, PB almost got eaten by a shark one time, but I saved him. And I said, you saved PB from a shark? Well, my lord, how did you do that, Boo Radley? He goes, well, I can't tell my secrets, but people do say I'm quite the hero. He goes, I'm known as quite the hero all around the world. I said, you are, Boo Radley. He said, oh, yes. And I said, so then, like, his hair is, like, the whole time blowing in the fan, because I had the fan on. And I said, Boo Radley, I said, you need a haircut. I said, your hair? He goes, oh, no, I think my hair looks just fine. He goes, in fact, people are copying my hair. I said, they are. And he said, yes. They said, if I wasn't a dog, then I'd be the Jennifer Aniston. I'd be the one creating hairdos all over the world. I said, Jennifer Aniston? He goes, yes, well, she's had the same hairdo for 20 years. He said, people still want to have that Jennifer Aniston hairdo. He goes, now people want the Boo Radley. I said, people want the Boo Radley like your hair? He goes, yes, people want the Boo Radley just like my hair. Alex is literally in stitches at this point, right? But he won't look at me. He's like on his phone, like acting like he's not laughing, you know? And I said, well, Boo Radley, I said, I think that we need to, get your hair cut. And he goes, oh no. He goes, I think it looks just fine. Don't even worry about it. He goes, I cut it myself. He goes, I call it the Bradley Cooper. I love my dog so much. I could just have conversations with Boo Radley for days. He's so sweet. Well, you guys got a longer vlog than you thought you were going to get tonight, didn't you? And how many of you are going to say, oh, well, you said it was going to be a short vlog, and I looked at the time. Don't do that. Why would you want to ruin the magic, my lord? I love when I say, as soon as I say it's going to be a short vlog tonight, people immediately push pause to see how long the vlog is going to be, and then it's like an hour and 12 minutes. And they're like, you said it was going to be a short vlog tonight, and it's an hour and 20 or 12 minutes. I know. What can I say? I have the gift for gab. The gift for gab. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Hell, nobody else will listen to me. I guess I have to talk on a video. Alex's friend's mom was like, so she's like, so now Alex said you have to go home and make a video? And I go, oh, no. It's not like I really make a video. I do like a daily vlog. And she's like, well, what's a vlog? She goes, a vlog? And she's like trying to like write it in her notes. Like she's going to look at my channel. And I go, yeah, I go, it's like I just drive around and I talk. And I said, sometimes I do them from home or like if we're on vacation or whatever. And she's like, well, what do you talk about? And I go, oh, it just kind of depends. And I say, I never really know when I start. And she's like, okay, well, what did you talk about last night? So it's like I pulled it up and I was showing her. But of course, you know, Alex's brother, their internet like would not work in the house, so I couldn't like pull it up. It was like slowly coming up, and I was like, well, last night I talked about like lessons I had learned. She's like, well, I want to hear that. And I was like, well, you have to look it up on YouTube. It's called Peter Vlogs. And I was like, I go, you don't have to, it's whatever. And she's like, do you really just sit and talk for like an hour? And I go, oh, sometimes a lot longer than that. I go, they want me to make a 3-hour vlog sometime this summer. I said, it's kind of an ongoing joke. And she's like, you could literally talk for 3 hours on a vlog. I go, well, I haven't done it yet, but yeah, I'm sure I could do it. She goes, well, who are you talking to? And I go, really just myself. And she goes, and this is what people always say. I'm going to start getting offended. When people start saying this to me, I'm going to get offended from now on. People in my personal life, when I tell them that I do this, you know what they say? And people watch it. I'm going to go, yes, and you are so rude that you would even assume that people wouldn't watch this. But it does kind of crack me up, you know, that like, I mean, I love it. I love that you guys watch my vlog and listen to what I have to say. And most of you, I think, just listen to what I have to say on here. But, you know, it really does mean a lot to me. But I have to say, like in real time, you know, like when I'm explaining it to somebody, it is kind of like, yeah, you listen to a dude drive around in a car for an hour every night, you know what I mean? But like in the same way, it's funny because like if there was somebody else that was driving around in their car every night for an hour talking, like that's kind of a vlog that I could get behind. Like I like longer vlogs. I like to just sit and listen to people like talk about their ideas and kind of ramble. And I love talk shows and, you know, radio shows, not talk shows, but like talk radio shows and stuff like that. So I think more people should start vlogs where they just talk and it's stream of consciousness every time, every night. More. Oh man, I need some water is what I need. My throat's kind of hurting. I may have had a few pieces of brie tonight, I'm not gonna lie. And a piece of cake, and maybe a few of those little cupcakes. Do you wanna know everything bad I had? Oh my God, his aunt made the most fantastic like cheese plate. And then they like always do these like, I don't know, they have like this corn, it looks like just like somebody took a can of corn and just dumped it in there, but it's not that because it's like spicy, they put all the stuff in it. And then you eat it with tortilla chips, like salsa. And then it's right, they always have that right next to salsa and right next to cheese. And then they do a lot of weird stuff with cream cheese that I don't really understand. Like one of it looks like soy sauce with something on it. I don't like that one. But they have like blueberry cream cheese tonight, and I was just like dipping these chips in it. That was good. And then what else do they have? Bunch of grapes. I'll tell you, those kids do not eat any junk. Like those kids eat really, really well. And like they don't really like they were excited they got candy in the piñata, but like, and they got a bunch of candy at Halloween, but like if you try to give them candy, they don't like love candy. Although this afternoon we were over there decorating the house, they were eating those icy things that come in the stick that my mom used to always, she'd be like, do you want ice cream? And I'd be like, yeah, and then she would like pull out one of those things. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not really ice cream, Mom, but nice try. But they were eating those, but very rarely. Like, they almost never are allowed to have, like, a lot of soda or anything like that. Like, Carlos and Liliana, and they always, like, they're really addicted to those, I think they're called cuties, those, like, little nectarines or little oranges or whatever. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They love those. They love fruit. Well, anyway, listen, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go home and I'm going to get some water and get PPS medicine, let the dogs out. And then I'm going to go out there and pick them up, take Alex's aunt home and get Alex in home. And, but I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. Unless you have other plans, but don't. Just enjoy your day. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I will see you guys, and tell yourself in the mirror, and pass it on and tell it to somebody else. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye. Love ya.